Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Somebody give me a sound check. I just want to see how my computer audio is doing because I have to change a few things here. Let me share my screen. I'm gonna go here. How's my audio? You guys hear me okay? Video is good. Somebody give me a sound check. There's Connie, Miguel, all good. All right. So we're lined up. We got, what is it? 2 minutes in front of the thing. I have a soft buy in NAS. I have a soft buy in S&P right now. It's opening rotation, so it's always treacherous, but definitely, you have a buy signal here. You have a sell buy signal, and a sell buy signal. And NAS been kind of floating. The S&P TP's at 66, so we'll see if that can go. The Nasdaq TP's at 88. So we'll see if either one of these can push or pull up on the open. Open seems to be a little bit hesitant this morning, but you never know. So that's just the prime rotation. Otherwise, the day has just been very, very flat. I'm going to talk a little bit about that in just a bit. But let's see how we open up on the rotation. Like I said, I'm long this looking for a 66 if I can hit it. I'm just letting the strategy play itself out. Fully aware that this is opening rotation, so we could get completely flushed. We have, I guess, 29. Time is it now? So 30 seconds to the open. Not much of an open here. Oh, okay. We got the 66s, I think. Yes, I got the 66s. Now I'm just looking for the 88s in NAS. I think I might take it early. I think I'm just going to take this early. Yeah, I'm going to close it out. I can't even. Jesus, ran away from me. I closed it out at wow. I closed it out like nothing at 82. But better than nothing, because I knew it was going to be a very, very quick move. I was hoping that they'd pop it a little bit further, but I had to do this manually. It went up to 85. I had 88. I only took about literally only 2 points out of that trade. Not much you can do, but the S&P did hit to the 66s, so that's good. At least we managed to carve that out. Fuck. Well, better than nothing. Now we got to just wait, because now it's the usual opening rotation nonsense. We got to see what's happening over here. Dow is actually the most robust and relatively well bid here. It does have a buy sell buy structure here. I actually traded this to the upside, but that trade got done. So really only if this shows up as a second buy can we entertain the idea of doing any additional trades. I'm just trying to see what else is going on over here. I'm gonna watch this. I am kind of tempted. Let me see if I can, because since it's Friday, it's Scalp Friday. I am tempted to just freebase here on, like, if NAS, like if this candle kind of closes green, you gotta get long here. You gotta believe it's going to be at least a good. Let's get long here. Oh, I'll go down. Oops. All right, let's get long here. 78s. Let's see if we can. This wasn't as strong a close on the green side as I thought. I should have waited, but yeah, I may have rushed this trade. But let's see. I still think there's a chance here we can pluck out maybe 5 on the scalp to the upside. Was that 83 is my TP? Let's see if we can get 83 out of this thing. Not a lot of love on the open here. Feels like all the trade happened beforehand. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, guys. How's my sound, by the way? Is my sound okay? Because I have a different mic. I just want to make sure you guys picking up my sound fine. Yeah, you know what? The straight kind of sucks. Let's give it one more minute. It better run now. There we go. There we go. Got it. Okay, so that was good. So that finally gave us a quick 5, but it was touch and go there for a second. I thought they might start pulling it up. Now I think they probably are going to actually start pulling it up after doing a flush, but we'll see. I don't know. Um, the opening indication has just been very, very lackluster. 14,400 is the peak here. We gotta honestly, the real trade here is if we break. Well, there we go. See, I should have. My biggest weakness is my lack of patience. That actually would have worked for a full 10. Anybody held that for more than 5? Sound is good. Okay. All right. So to me, like the really interesting trade, if we're going to chase this thing, since we got nothing else to do, is this the break above the session highs. If we can take that out, then we have a chance to run the 400s, and that would be a really good trade. Let me see what I got in the chat here. Okay. But other than that, it's a very, very actually quiet, low volatility day. An overnight session was problematic at best. I basically sort of stayed on the better part of even most of the time. It wasn't very productive. So here we're starting to try and test the upside here on NAS. And looks tired. Looks really kind of tired. Everything getting weak. I'm gonna sell the S&P just for shits and giggles. Here, we'll see. Again, I'm just playing. There's nothing setting up here. It just looks like we seem to have kind of petered out at the highs, and maybe they want to press the lows a little bit here. I'll just try to go for this for like 1 point actually, because there's not much I can see here. But see if I can get a point out of this thing. Okay, got it. That was it. I got, I'm playing, guys. You saw the turn here. So kind of got weak. Really, we don't have a clue. We need at least 10, 15 minutes for price action to kind of settle down. Are we going to hold the 200? Not really clear. Is this a double top that we kind of exhausted ourselves off the post news high? Possibly, but I still think there's a pretty decent underlying bid here in all the equities. And I don't think the Bulls are going to give up that quickly. So let's be a little patient here, not force any trades. I want to do a little bit of a replay of the um, I want to do a little bit of a replay of the overnight session because it was really, really choppy and completely useless. But and even like I was going to say, this is what's very important to kind of to appreciate is that even when you have all the signals lining up, if the regime is totally range bound, you won't even get, you won't even get the plays. So we start the Asia session open actually gives you a trade. You have a buy, sell, sell. This is a short plus 10, a nice clean trade, you've done, right? Maybe I don't even know if it's plus 10. This looks, no, I'm wrong. It's 42. No, it's 42 to, yeah, it's plus 10. You barely make 10 at this volatility. Then kind of turn the other way. You could, you have a double buy here. So, sell by buy, which is a trigger for us to the upside. It takes us 61 to, actually, this gives you another 10. So, it's not horrible. And then we get into a very, very choppy market where even secondary signals, this is a key thing. So here I want to show you, you get a buy, sell, sell. That's typically a great signal for us. It's a double sell confirm, right? It should be continuity. And it just dies, like 330, just we literally sell the lows. And here's where you can't really do this with an algo. This is where the art of kind of managing the trade, in my opinion, comes in. If you have the classic, buy, sell, sell, strong sell signal that just you get your face ripped in it. So in other words, it doesn't really go down again. It doesn't go down in your direction, and then reverses to a trend buy signal. Instead of waiting for a full stop, I would buy in reverse. I would stop in reverse because what that's telling you is that the market is completely turned around. It gave you a false signal. The true signal is the new trend buy signal. You get long here. That obviously, I think I did reverse this, and that worked out much better. So even though this is a loss, this turns back into a win. At least you're flat lined. Then we had whatever the hell this was. We had European Open. I saw this big spike. So that puts us then now into a condition of sell, buy. Do you want to do that? In this condition, I wouldn't, because you had a big, it was a big move up. And as a matter of fact, actually, I think if you bought this here, you simply just got faded out. It just got distributed. It wasn't really worth chasing it here because it was already second buy signal. And you already did the reverse over here. But if you took it, it's a classic setup. You just simply got stopped, and you got taken out. And here's where it gets again very challenging, especially if you don't appreciate the news. You're standing in front of news here, right? So you have this big sell setup. This actually worked, if believe it or not. I was short this from like right around here. It actually made the plus 10, but a totally lucky trade. And then you get a complete reversal on the trade. And finally, post news, this is a more legitimate signal. But then we run into the market opening rotation, and you get this, this kind of garbage. So very choppy day. You're walking on a landmine most of the time. And honestly, days like today, your best hope is to just kind of break even. Be maybe marginally, if you're lucky, marginally positive, like 5-10 points on the position. And that's fine, because when you have days like this, when the price is literally not moving more than 20 points away from the 200 EMA, the trade isn't going to work. All you can do is just try to avoid as many whipsaws as possible, because the whipsaw formation is always the single most negative chart pattern for us, since we're always trading continuation and continuity. So you can't escape it, but you got to know how to minimize it, right? I mean, the key here is to avoid stupidity and absorb necessity, right? So take the stops when it's a clean, clear signal that you when you have a double confirm like this. Even if you got stopped on this, it wasn't a bad trade because you did a confirm. The only thing obviously is that if you were news cognizant, you shouldn't have traded this at all, because it's right in front of news. But if this was without news, let's say this was without news, and you just simply had that price action, you still should have taken the short trade, because it's a legitimate setup. Similarly, this is a legitimate setup to the upside. Although you're standing in front of the market opening rotation and you get this kind of a topside move. Having said this, now I actually like this trade now. Where am I? I like the long on this because we seem to be. Let's see. If this can, I want this candle needs to stay green. Let me just see if we can hold the green. We can hold the green. I'll trade this because it's within the thesis of the trend buy that we're seeing. Okay, let's get long here. So we'll give it a shot. We'll stay on the long side here because we're above trend and boom, did we get done? That was good. That was good. So sometimes I can actually read the chart intelligently. I should have set this to 10. My thing is auto set to 5 for a quick scalp because I'm just kind of the algos for a quick scalp. We'll see if it can go for a full 10. Still looks very choppy. But the reason why this looks mildly constructive is because you have two trend buy signals, prices stabilizing above the 200 SMA, still testing all this upside. But that if they can just if they can bust the highs of the day, this is going to be a runner. It's just going to be a pure straight up trend runner. So if you're gonna err on the side of on one side versus the other, you want to err on the long side. As long as the price action is supportive, and the funda is supportive. The funda was muted, right? Today, I'm just arguing on Twitter all day long that the funda basically showed that the inflation risk is really minimal, and because of that, that creates a much more supportive environment for Nasdaq. And just anytime you don't have a steepening yield curve, it's positive for Nasdaq. Because Nasdaq basically operates, and Nasdaq is driven by high technology companies that love free money, right? The cheaper the money, if you have free money, you can have infinite money. That means you can give away your products and keep market share. That's basically Nasdaq. And the moment money becomes even mildly expensive, that means the long end starts to just kind of steepen out. That kills the Nasdaq stocks. So today, the theme went back to kind of flattening, 10-year staying very, very flat. That really helps the free money thesis on Nasdaq. How's everybody doing in the room? You guys today is kind of like Ask Boris Anything Friday. This thing is working for more than 5, right? So if you're smart enough and patient enough to hold for more, you probably milked some more. I don't know. Anybody take that trade, by the way? Cheryl, Connie, Karen. Is Karen in the room today? I don't even know if she's in the room. Miguel, no. It was a quick trade. I know it was a scalp, but it was a decent scalp. I mean, the one thing I really like about you're being greedy on a choppy day. Yeah, I know. Let's hope your greed is rewarded. Let's hope the bias. Are you still holding, Karen? You still in the trade? Because I think it might work for you. The one thing the one thing I really like about our setup as it stands right now is, yes, obviously we're always going to be vulnerable to chop. We're always going to, we're betting on continuity. We're always vulnerable to just this nonsense of up and down, up and down, up and down. But two things that I think really help us out. As long as we give ourselves breathing room, decent stops. Now you can't do 10-point stops in Nasdaq or 20-point stops in Dow and expect to survive this kind of regime. You have to give yourself breathing room. And as long as you don't fight the general overall picture, the overall picture right now is basically net positive, right? You're looking at this, you have two trend buys, you're above the 200. There's lots of chopping back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, but the bias remains up, right? And if, as it looks, it's going to resolve, it's more likely, the big question is, how is this going to resolve? And it's resolving to the upside. It's going to resolve to the upside. That resolve to the upside, that's your trade. Basically, your whole trade is that, yes, this is going to resolve to the upside because all of our indicators are showing that to us. And that's what I love about the clarity of the new setup. It's very clean. There is not a lot of indicators. There's nothing there to pollute the eye. And it's, speaks through the noise, right? It's kind of showing you through the noise. Like I said, you know, if you think about the basic statistical example, we use like a regression line. A regression line is simply like an averaging of all the um, means, just plotting all the means as close to a line. It's clear that the trend is up. There's an upward angle, right? If you kind of just look through the noise, and our indicators are kind of showing you, yes, there's an upward bias. That's all we can hope for. If the indicators give us the correct bias, the trade should take care of itself, right? As that's really the whole strategy is that as long as you have a reasonable volatility wrapper on the trade takes care of itself. You know, and everything else is just nonsense. You just ignore it. Anyways, let's take a look at what else is looking here. It's kind of very, as I said, super quiet. It's doldrums Friday. S&P chopped around, took our 66s. Nothing is going on over here. We already had the 2 trend buys on the S&P, so at this point there's just no signals here. The Dow, if it turns back up and gives us another trend buy, you could trade it. I imagine you really can't trade it because it's actually been in a continuous buy bias for the past 4 hours, although it's been so tight that entering into this trade wouldn't have resolved until you got over here. But if the Dow turns positive, I would not. I would consider, maybe taking one more trade here. So let's take a look also at FX, because FX seems to be also kind of quiet. But the big takeaway for me in the FX side was dollar weakness post news, and here it's probably best expressed in the euro, right? So the euro comes out post news, which is like somewhere around here, 58 with a bias. Where is it at now? It's like 67. So post news, that this was a good trade to the upside. You can see that it holds bid. It was 2 trend buys. Pound still remains negative, and it would be much more speculative to trade this. And dollar CAD was a great sell over here. You have 2 trend sells over here very early. You could have maybe pressed it over here, but that's about it. At this point, you don't want to be chasing dollar CAD to the downside. Dollar yen. Where's my dollar yen? Dollar yen put a second sell signal ahead of the news, and the news kind of brought us down. And now, I wouldn't, I would not. I wouldn't dismiss the. It's not a great entry. I'd love to have been, it's been short over here, but if it gets into the 60s, dollar yen I think is a pretty decent sell with a 10-20. I think it goes back down into the low 50s as the day goes by, because all the news here is Fed continues to ease. U.S. rates though are starting to rise, so they go up above 150. That could be supported dollar yen, and you could get yourself trapped with the news already all built in. But other than that, there's very little going on here on the currency side to do anything today. Gold daily time frame. If today end up a sell, we have a sell by sell signal. How big a stop on daily? If I can get your advice. Okay, great question. Let's look at gold. Look at gold. Wow, everything turned down hard. Everything turned down hard, huh, guys? Wow, sorry. Let me just go back to this. So everything dumped. Well, no, not everything. Just Nasdaq dumped. I'm surprised. Wow, big Nasdaq really dumped. Okay. That's interesting. So I'm just watching to see if there's any signals in the Dow or anything else. Because remember, I said the second trend buy signal in the Dow wouldn't be a horrible idea. As a matter of fact, let's just be a little patient, and then I'll go look at gold for you. Where's my Dow? I'm gonna buy this. I'm just gonna front run this because it's close enough to where it's probably going to give me a trend buy very, very, very soon. And I want to go look at gold. So I'm just going to assume that I got close enough somewhere around there. So I came in like at around 51, and the target is going to be 71 for the Dow if we can get it up to the upside. We'll see. We'll see if the Dow can pop itself up. Okay, let's look at gold. Let's go over here to the currency chart. Look at gold, and look at gold on a daily chart, which is large. Sell by sell. Yeah. So it's interesting. I'm trying to figure out what the right volatility wrapper would be for you, right? So what would it be? 20? 1809. Yeah, I think that's a reasonable $20, $10, probably. You know, maybe 40-20, depending on how convinced you are that this is a decent sell point. I think it's a pretty decent sell point, but he can definitely push to 1820 before it comes back down. So like you see here, let's look at this. The prior sell signal was here, 96. The high on this was 26. So yeah, you need like 40 points. I think I would give myself $40 of room against a $20 target. So that would be like a 1816 against 1766. That's sort of the way I would give my, I would do it in order to trade it out. Where's my Dow? Dow seems to be working a little bit for us. Where are we? 66. Oh, we're almost there. You know what? Let's take the 14th. Let's take the 15th. It's good enough. Again, I was front running. I didn't even have a trend buy signal, right? Because it never quite dipped out. But it was, why did I go for this? Because remember, essentially, what's a trend buy signal? A trend buy signal is a reaffirmation of the upward trend, right? We have big trend, short trend upward. That's obviously confirming the big trend, retrace trend, and then reaffirmation of the dominant trend. As long as I get a reaffirmation of dominant trend, as long as I'm close in the neighborhood, especially if I get a decent price around the moving average, and this actually this went to full 20. So we took like 15. Those of you guys who took 20 should have done well. Did anybody take that Dow trade with me? Because that was probably the better trade of all the stuff that we've been doing. Jonathan took 6. Karen, you love the Dow, or are you just like too pissed off with the Nasdaq and getting chopped around? 17. Peter comes in. Peter is the winner. Okay, let's we're gonna have the Friday lottery derby. Who made the most points? Peter runs the derby so far. He gets to be the racehorse. Let me put him in there. Lot in Dow or Lol in Dow? Is that Lol? You're Lol in Dow. Let's see what Karen prints. So right now, Peter gets to be the horse. Where's my horse? Horse racing. Here we go. Horse racing. You get the meme. Here, those of you guys who are in. Oh fuck! I can't even get this going. Jesus, my computer. I'm just chatting with the guys in the room. Dow to break even. Okay. Oh, were you short the NAS? Because NAS just like collapsed here. Were you fading it? Oh, good for you. That's another thing. By the way, oh, Karen, thank you. That's another thing that's super, 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 super smart. Okay, I want to, and this is where I love this strategy. I love the strategy because it's like Switzerland. It really doesn't give an F. Let me explain to you what I mean. So, what destroys our strategy? Let me see. Actually, um, let me just ask this of everybody. Everybody in class and everybody in the room. What negates our setup? Irrespective of everything else, what's the one thing where you know you're wrong, right? If you haven't been stopped, what's the one thing where you know you're wrong? Let's see if you guys can guess that. Anybody? Come on, bitches. It's like right on the charts here. It's right like if you look at the Nasdaq, it's right on the chart. What's the one thing that tells you you are wrong? You are wrong. You should not be in this trade. We are long Nasdaq, and there's one thing that tells us that we're wrong. Anybody? Should I tell you? Not moving average. No. Yeah, it's all good. That those are all great ideas, but no, it's super simple. It's so freaking simple. You're gonna go obviously. So assuming, let's just play with me on this, on this, because obviously I think the stop would have been hit. But let's say the stop was, you get a double, sell, buy. So we're long, right? We're long, and it doesn't quite hit our target, doesn't quite hit our stop. We're still dicking around. We're holding, right? If it doesn't hit our stop, the thing that negates this setup, that completely destroys the setup, is the opposite side signal. If you have a sell, it negates this whole structure. But if you are mentally and sort of, emotionally fluid enough, like Karen is, you can then say, oh, this is even a better setup, because now this is showing me its true hand. The market is really showing me its true hand. It faked me out to the upside, and now it's going to try to flush it all the way down. And this is a really good signal to the upside. In other words, if we have a classic setup that fails, that's even a better setup the other way around, because usually when things fail, everybody's caught off guard, right? We're all mispositioned. And when you're mispositioned, that's literally the best time to trade, because everybody is tripping over themselves trying to get out of the way. Is that clear? So I'll give you an example. What's TS? Karen, what's TS? Trade signal plus trade signal plus trade signal. Yeah. Trend sell. Yeah, I mean the reverse sell signal, right? And the beauty of just having one indicator is that it really keeps the chart very clean and pure. So you don't have to really worry that much. I'm trying to remember, where the hell did I turn myself around earlier in the day where I just used the exact same methodology. Let me just look at just bear with me a second here, guys. Let me try to remember, what the hell did I do? When did I do this? Oh, it was right here. It was right here. I think it was was it right here? Yeah, it was like 7 in the morning. That's what it was. So I actually didn't make up most of my losses, but I made some of my losses. So this was it. Yeah. So I think was this a buy? Okay. Yeah. So here's a classic buy, right? So let's say I'm hanging out here. I get a secondary buy. It just doesn't hit my target. Whatever, it goes 3, 4, 5 points in the money, and it starts to drift. And I'm kind of like, I'm neither here. It's neither hot nor cold. I'm not winning or I'm not losing. I'm drifting, slowly losing. And then I get a sell signal. And when I got this, I was like, oh, this setup has failed. I no longer have any justification for being long the market because the flow of the market has reversed. And so I blew out, got short, and that was great. It took me like 3 candles, and boom, I didn't make all of it, but if you can make 50% of your losses back, that's already, you're well on your way to doing well, right? That's, as I said, the market is not going to be cooperative all the time, but if you can just roll with the punches, you're going to be doing really, really well. So that was the big reversal I did earlier today. So Karen did the same thing sort of over here. We had long buys. It didn't quite go her way, right? Let's imagine, we came in later. We ignored the spike because we came in over here. It didn't quite extend this way. And you get a sell signal here. When you get a sell signal, hell, that's a complete negation of the prior construct. Boom, perfect, nice little sell, right? So that I think that's sort of like an advanced technique, but one that's really, really useful, right? It really works well for what we want to do. What else? You guys want to look at crypto a little bit? I don't know what crypto's been doing today. I haven't been following it actually much. There's not much really going on. You could play the S&P, but it just, everything feels very, very compressed and in a low range environment. I do think the S&P taking out 66s will be a great trade. We could play. Do I want to play that? I could play that. I'm chasing the S&P right now, but it looks kind of hot. Where's my S&P? Definitely chasing. Okay, I'll buy the 65s. Let's see. Is this really going to be a runner? Let's give it a shot. I'll take it for a point. But if the S&P clears the highs, that's very, very significant. That means it's going to just extend to the 70s, because that's all-time highs. It's flirting around with those with those numbers. It's all basically suggestive of still a very supportive liquidity environment for stocks. We'll see. Let's see if I can. I'm trying to see if I can just get a point out of this thing, and then wait until it starts to break out the highs. Let's see. Maybe not. All right, good. So it just made a point. Let's just, this isn't the trade for us. Now, what we got to look for now is where the intelligent trade will be is we take out the highs and we get an additional trend buy. Like at this point, a trend buy within this structure probably is a very decent looking signal, because what is the highs over here? What is that? We're kind of broken them, right? We're kind of broken them. We're kind of holding them. So looks good. Let's give it a shot. Bear with me a second, guys. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna stay patient with this thing and see if I can get a trend buy on this. It's well kind of seasoned. It's third or the fourth one in the sequence, but it's at fresh highs. So I'm willing to give it a shot. 4 ticks in the yes. Good job. Yeah, that's what I got basically in the yes as well. Not a bad day trading today, guys. We're actually had a good day. Let me see. I think we're having a good history. Let me see where my history is. Where's my history? Today. Custom period. Today. Is that today? How's that today? How am I getting killed on this? Can't be right today. Oh, I know why. Oh, that doesn't count. Sorry. I know, because I was running the algo earlier today. I was just testing the algo. So we got to. It just goes from here. I want to go from the latest. This latest time, yeah. So this is pretty much where we started. We started pretty much over here. So that's been a pretty good day. We had 4 consecutive winners today. No complaints. Okay. I was like, why am I having all this green? Red, because I was testing the algo. Okay. So so that's good. Kind of getting a trend buy here. Okay, let's play this one more time. I got 21 seconds. All right, I'll play the game, but only very tight. Like I'm gonna play it for 4-2. It either works or it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, it'll be only the first losing trade of the day. That's why I'm willing to take it, because we already have 4 winners in a day. Oh shoot, this did I? Oh man, sorry guys, this really isn't a legitimate trade. Okay, I'm gonna take this out. That's not a legitimate trade because it didn't give me a trend buy. Why didn't this? Oh, because that's interesting. I wonder why it didn't give me a trend buy. Was the MACD too low? All right. Well, I'm gonna pass up on this because I don't have a legitimate signal. It may still work, but I'm gonna try and trade my signals as best I can. What's the question here? Yeah, it's who's talking here? It's Stephen is saying really interesting thing. He's saying one thing he's learned is not to be stunned by the loss. I love that use of phrase, because it is exactly what happens to most of us. We're stunned. It's like it's like being punched in the face, right? Mike Tyson's whole thing, and that's really the key thing is if you can, if you can learn to stop being stunned by the loss, because oh my God, I actually lost. How dare you? And just absorb it as a very much a natural course of doing business. It becomes you become a lot more in control of your destiny in the market. By the way, this move definitely moved. I mean, like I don't know why the trend buy didn't come in. I wonder if it was a okay. I bet you I know. It's probably just missed my volatility ATR. Let's just give it a shot. If I were to test this, if I were to disable MACD, but yeah, that's it. The MACD was just not wide enough to give us a signal. So okay, fine. We're going to follow the rules. So it didn't quite make it. Doesn't matter. But yeah, that's a great great compliment. You're absolutely right. If you can avoid being stunned, you're well ahead of everybody else. All right. So Peter, it looks like you had a good day. You're like plus 21 ticks, maybe even more for the day. You're trading well. Karen did a great job on reversal. Lots of mental flexibility. Jonathan is just banking quietly. So everybody's doing well today. What else going on here, guys? Still like this trade. I mean, like if it's not. It didn't give us a signal because it was just a little too tight. This looks pretty good. I mean, honestly, if I'm looking at everything right now, just from price action and the tonality and everything else, it looks like the S&P wants to go higher. I may be 100% wrong, but I would be willing to take that trade with a 4-2 risk, because I think if they do run it, they're going to run it through the 70s here. So you're well positioned for a breakout here. Remember, look at this. We're just floating right above all-time highs, and that they just once they take it, they just want to sweep it like a. Should we play it? All right, let's just what? Screw it. It's Friday. It's Friday. Where am I? I'm gonna get long here, 66.50. Let's see. Let's see if they do run it. Just gonna trade. It's outside of our purview, but let's see if they run it. Let's see if this will be. Either way, it's a decent punt. It works, it's great. If it doesn't work, it was worthwhile the risk, because we already had like 4 winners today, so we can afford to get a little punty on these moves. All right, who else is in the room here? We got a lot of people in the room. Any other questions, guys? Guys, you got me here for the next 10, 15 minutes. You can ask me any questions you like. I hope everybody's, by the way, is going to be. Oh, here's finally the trend buy is showing up because the trend envelope is wide enough for us to trade. It's actually a better entry than the one I got. What I come in at? I came in at 66. This is a point below, right? So I should really be entering here. So where's that? 6, 7. See, I should have waited for my signal. I should have waited for my signal. Okay, it's 64. Okay, I'm gonna buy this. Oops. Damn, this is too many size. I want to get size. Okay, 65. All right, so that puts me at generally 65 to 67. So I should be at +1 on this. I'm just adjusting my trade because I rushed it. The entry, if you're doing the proper entry, it's a 65 entry to a 67, 66, 67 target with a 63 stop. No, sorry, 61 stop. God, I'm really not thinking. So that's, that should be my stop. So 61 should be my stop. So I got to adjust my stop here. Where is this? Is it going to adjust my stop? Oh, now, you know what? Screw it. Let's just take it. Because I screwed up this. I screwed the pooch on this trade a big time because I wasn't patient enough. But it was good. There we go. That's 67. Okay, fifth winning trade of the day. I think I'm done. Is 9 a.m. next week definite? I think so. What do you think, Karen? I think we should do 9 to 10, right? I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that kind of sets up ahead of the open. Works well. Is it? Let's put it to a vote. Anybody like the? Oh, laddering entry retreats on losses and wins. Oh, yeah. It's a very different conversation, the laddering conversation. So we can have that conversation now. We have a little bit of time before we do the laddering conversation and finish up the day. So who's anybody objecting to trading 9 to 10 versus 9:30, 10:30? Jonathan's saying it's too early for the West Coast. Cheryl's on the West Coast and she says 9 works for her. Okay. All right. Okay. Everybody seems to like that. The only reason I'm sort of proposing that is because there's a lot of pre-market setups, that kind of help us. I noticed, especially not on Fridays, but Tuesday through Thursday, there's a lot of jockeying that we can position ourselves into. So let's kind of work on that. All right. Anyways, it's been a damn good Friday. Even though I screwed the pooch on a couple of trades, it's still been like basically from the time. We'll look at this, and now it's starting to really break out. Like I told you, if you guys were holding the S&P, that was the trade here. So it was 1, 2, 5. Is it 5 trades? What the fuck didn't this give me the thing? Yeah, it's 5 winning trades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that was, how many points is this? This is 5 points. 1.5 plus 10 points in NASDAQ. Didn't I make 15? Oh, yeah. 16 points in NASDAQ, is a half point. So 10 points in NASDAQ, 16 points Dow. And this is 4 points in the S&P. Well, it's a really good day today, actually. 16 in the Dow, 10 in NASDAQ, and 4 in the S&P. I'm just converting it back from ticks. So that's pretty good. Okay, good job, guys. Good job. Everybody did a good job. So we're going to do 9 to 10 next week. And now we kind of, let's talk about laddering, because and the best way I can talk to you about laddering is with the Euro Kiwi funded trade, right? The fundamental trade, because I'm going to take you, because laddering is this is not a trade you want to do on short-term charts. This is only something you want to do on much longer-term charts. If you ladder into a position on short-term charts, you're going to ladder yourself into a margin call, because the increments are too small. and the continuation is too large. Okay, everybody is up for the day. Great, super. 9, 10. Peter, it's always gonna it'll probably go to 9 to 10:30. I'm just I'm giving myself the chance to not go for 10:30. Okay, so here's daily. You're a dollar daily, right? You're a Kiwi daily, right? And this is a good example of laddering into a trade, laddering into a trade. I think I forgot when I had this conversation with people. I think it was somewhere around here. Honestly, it was probably like around here. We were at around. Excuse me. We're like around maybe 69, somewhere there. And my view was that as the RBNZ gets more hawkish, or maybe it was even here. Maybe it was like around here. Let's just imagine I came in at a horrible time. Let's say I took this is the RBNZ hawkish move, end of May, and I'm like, I think Euro Kiwi is a sell, right? So how would you trade this in a laddering basis in a long-term fundamental thing? Well, first of all, my view is that this is a very long-term trade. In other words, I'm projecting next 3 to 6 months on this particular trade. I'm targeting somewhere down here into the low 60s. Like I think it can even go down to 160 as a trade, right? So I have a large target. I have to give myself breathing room, and the intelligent place for the breathing room is literally like 1,000 pips above into this 180 zone, right? That's how you got to basically structure it if you want to give yourself the proper thing. And then obviously you're going to ladder it. So what you want to do when you're laddering is, if you are wrong, you add small. So in this particular case, I'm short here 67, and then I'm going to add every 50 to 100 pips in small amounts. So I start with a small. Let's just, for argument's sake, I have a $10,000 account, and I don't want the position to get any larger than, I don't know, 5 times my size. I don't want to get larger more than 50,000, but I'm actually going to start with like a tiny amount, like maybe 1,000 units on the starting position, because I'm only I'm going to get a good blended price. So every 50 pips up from 67, I've blended up, and all the way up to 71, I've got a nice blended price. So now my price is somewhere around 70 on the move, right? And so now I'm like 68. I'm significantly in the money, because let's say my average price is around 70, right? I would maybe even need it to go below 68. If it gets below 68, now I get larger in size. This is the great interesting way of laddering. So you're smaller when it goes against you. When you're starting to get deep in the money, you want to add maybe 2,000 or 3,000 per position every 50 pips down till it kind of breaks this 166. If it breaks this, once it breaks that low, then you just simply hold. At that point, your blended price is somewhere around like 168, 169, right? It breaks the 166, and then you're just hoping that it continues down to like 160, 162 with a large position and a good average price. So the trick when you're most everybody always does the opposite, which is the more it goes against you, the more you average up. And of course, if you're absolutely wrong, you're just going to have the greatest amount of position at the worst possible price. Whereas here, when you're doing small sizes, you're really not leveraging yourself that much. And then once it starts going your way, you're going to have the biggest position at the right possible price. The critical thing, though, that you really want is you want an absolutely big buffer between your net average price and your current price before you start adding more to the position, because you're always going to get a little bit of retraces. You don't want a sharp retrace to go against you. But generally, what you're looking for is some kind of a technical confirmation that your thesis is right. To me, honestly, I really don't see the charts confirming my fundamental thesis until they can break this 160, right? That's a big level. If they can take this 166 level out, then I have a lot more confidence that they're gonna press it to the downside even more. All right, does that make sense to everybody? So that's that's laddering. That's kind of where things stand. Other than that, we're kind of done. We're done. We had a good week, guys. I'll post this up. It's pretty good trading today. It's actually 5 for 5 or 6 for 5. I already forgot. I forgot. No, 6 for 6. Whatever. We didn't have any losers today. It was really good. And you know, the structure is awesome. It doesn't work all the time. It's certainly going to trip you up in know when the structure fails the most, but also appreciate at how flexible and robust it is. So thank you so much. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, everybody. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I'll see everybody at Trader Fest, right? You're all coming. I'll see everybody there. We'll have a great day, a great weekend with everybody. So take care, and everybody enjoy. Bye-bye.